Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm talking about the Sun conjunct to Neptune in Synastry. So this is an aspect that I would consider a soulmate bond. Um, there is a level of connection with each other that goes beyond this physical plane. There's something very ethereal about this connection, and usually it's very felt by both people. Um, there can also be issues being worked out around the father image. So, daddy issues and stuff like that can come up. Maybe if the father was not very present, this relationship can help you deal with those feelings because Neptune can be very elusive towards the sun. That's something to watch out for with this aspect. So, the sun person and even the Neptune person, they could be working out father issues with this aspect. But it's generally a pretty nice one to see because we have a high level of idealism and compassion and feeling sympathy for someone when we have this Sun Neptune conjunction. It's very easy to see the other person's ego in a high way. So the Neptune person can really feel like the Sun person, and the expression of their ego and their identity, it matches their dream for life or maybe some of their own motivations, and they can really see in the Sun person their leadership and really respect it and really want to be around them. Now, in the negative sense, if the Neptune person maybe doesn't have the best intentions, they can want to be around the Sun person because they feel like that leadership and their light will help them get whatever their goal is or whatever their dream is. So we can see this aspect show up in where someone is being used. It's not always the Sun person. Sometimes it's going to be the Neptune person. It really depends, but there definitely is this like rosy glow going on here. Like the rose-colored glasses are on, and there's usually a lot of respect for each other and seeing each other in a very beautiful, divine way. Um, the thing with Neptune contacts is that there's very much a soul level connection. And, with this conjunction, sometimes we can see that there are many past lives together, and maybe this is the lifetime where we're actually meant to separate. We're not meant to be together, but because of the strength of this Neptune conjunction to Sun, we can't stand the thought of not being together. So there can be a lot of sacrifice. The Neptune person can sacrifice a lot for Sun. The Sun person can not really see Neptune clearly at all and feel like they're like this mysterious dream that they can't quite put their finger on. So there can be some deception, or there can be some overgiving. So, the best thing to do when you have this conjunction is anything that you give unconditionally, and then nobody will feel used. And also recognize that this is happening so that you can maybe pull yourself back to reality, which can be hard to do when we have this conjunction. And, think about, am I really seeing this person clearly? Because you might be missing some things, and that's what can end up happening in a long-term relationship with the Sun Neptune conjunction, is realizing the person you thought you were dealing with was not actually who you thought they were, right? So there can be a level of delusion or delulu with this aspect that's quite high because it's the conjunction. So the conjunction, we're going to see the strongest amount of delusion. The opposition and the square, we can also see it, and those tend to be more difficult. The square, especially for the Sun person, tend to be quite difficult, but the conjunction, it's almost more likely to work out positively, at least in my experience, in my opinion. It is nice to have someone's Neptune conjunct your Sun. It's lovely. It's beautiful. It can be a bit diffusing, like it can be the sun person can feel a bit confused by the Neptune person at times, and they are hard to pin down, they are elusive, and so it can be a bit destabilizing, especially for the sun. But usually, like if the Neptune person has the right intentions and they have other synastry that is favorable, this aspect just really gives you that grace with someone. It gives you that ability to look at someone in a really high light and, be a supporter, be a fan. We can see a little bit of, being each other's fan going both ways. You can see that with the other Sun Neptune aspects as well. So, yeah, it's really favorable for artistic creativity. The Neptune person can really bring out beautiful works of art out of the Sun person. And, as much as the Neptune person can confuse the Sun, they can also, if the Sun is more spiritually attuned or artistically attuned, they can bring out beauty in the Sun and, bring out a more refined energy from the Sun. So, if the sun person's sun is, say, well, I'll just use my own Neptune, like in Capricorn, it can bring out a higher side of that Capricorn energy to be in a relationship with someone's Neptune conjunct their sun, because it takes it to a more spiritual, to a more mystical level. So, yeah, especially if this aspect is showing up with other soulmate aspects, you could really see that this is a soul contract. Sometimes the Neptune person has been sent to help the sun or give to the sun in the way that only Neptune can, in a very unconditional soul love level. But if this is like the only aspect going on, or I mean, it's never like one aspect is the only aspect in synastry, but like if the rest of the synastry is not very good looking and then this aspect shows up, that's when we could see maybe more bad karma rather than good. Like I said about the sun trine to Neptune in synastry, I feel like that's an aspect of good karma. Now, this one, it could be that there's karma, but it's not always going to be good. Like I said earlier, this might show up in a relationship where it's time to finally cut the cord. We feel such a deep closeness and telepathic understanding, speaking without words and just feeling very similar. We can feel very similar when we have this conjunction. Like the Neptune person really understands the sun person's motivations, but it might be time to cut the cord. And so you could see this aspect show up in relationships that are more painful, where, you're learning difficult lessons. Maybe there's Pluto stuff going on and there's a betrayal. And, if you have this conjunction, it's really about learning to still love this person at the soul level, recognizing this was a sacred soul connection. Yes, it was worthwhile, it was valuable, even if you're not meant to be physically together in this lifetime. So that can be one of the lessons of Neptune, is like learning to have unconditional love even when you're not meant to be physically with them in this lifetime, because you feel spiritually close, but is it actually meant to be a physical relationship in this lifetime? That would be determined by other things. So yeah, this one is great for artistic creativity and feeling a deep soul connection with someone where you generally see each other in a really beautiful light. You can even feel like you're each other's angel in a sense. And that's something that's commonly said with a Sun Neptune relationship, is like, you're my angel. Or like the Sun person could even feel like Neptune is like, you're my spirit guide, or vice versa. Like it can sometimes switch. But what else? Yeah, it's a really interesting one. I do feel like it's more often positive than not, but sometimes you are learning that lesson of letting them go in this lifetime. And sometimes it is working out of father issues as well. And that's a part of what the relationship's purpose is some deep healing. So it does tend to be significant when you see this aspect in synastry. It's very powerfully felt. It is like a rosy glow over each other, rose colored glasses. Neptune energy can be kind of like being a bit drunk or drugged. So it can definitely feel like that. This can be a relationship that this person is in your dreams all the time, and it's hard to stop dreaming of them. So you have to just keep cutting the cord. If it does exist in a long term relationship, there is a level of closeness and understanding and spiritual connection that is pretty unmatched. So, yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this aspect. Was it like this? Was it not like this? Let me know in the comments, you guys. And thanks for your requests. Keep your requests coming, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.